Welcome to this evening's program.
Divine Creator, we ask that the light of highest awareness fill the minds and hearts of those who are open to your light. We ask that they be assisted and strengthened in their resolve to achieve peace using peaceful means. May their minds, their hearts, and their actions reflect the divine will to good for all. Comfort, strengthen, and support those who are in a difficult situation in their mind, body, or spirit. Bring confidence to them that your divine hand is at work in their life. Amen.
Well, welcome and good evening. This evening's program is about positive thinking. But before that, I'd like you to know that we are a non-denominational spiritual fellowship, nonprofit founded by Michelle Luson. Reverend Michelle Luson was a mystic and channel for multidimensional consciousness, and she received input from spirit in the form of an apparition by Swami Sivananda, and where he asked her to start this organization and place it in the Washington, D.C. area so that we would be a light for the nation's capital. We have twice a month chapel programs, and you can go to our website at CCWH.com to find out some of our other activities that we have during the week that you might like to join us. Our prayers for peace, our healing prayers, and the Saturday morning intuitive development, and other information that you will find there as well. So this evening, I was stimulated to start this by a message from Spirit. Before we begin, we always start most of our programs off, if not all of them, with our affirmations channeled by Reverend Michelle Luson and given to us as faith, hope, and charity affirmations, but Michelle always referred to them as the three healers because they have the capability, when we invest in them, of balancing all the systems, the energy systems in our bodies. So we begin with the faith affirmation. I believe in the spiritual existence of myself as a perfect image of the divine creator. In this reflection, that is my physical embodiment, I have faith in the supreme guidance of my soul for my balance, needs, and opportunities. Outside of myself, there are also perfect images, and nothing can delude my thinking otherwise. The hope affirmation, acknowledging my faith in the omnipresence of my divinity. I hope for realization, awareness, and acknowledgement of the existence of the great I am within myself. The charity affirmation, in understanding faith and knowing hope, I pledge my actions, my desires, and my thoughts to the performances of myself on the physical planes of the earth, to honor, to love, and to enlighten all that is the reflection of the divine outside myself, so that my perfection is imaged back to my Creator. So help me God. And this evening's program on positive thinking was, as I said, stimulated by Spirit, because one morning I got up and I heard this. It said, there is disbelief in the power of positive thinking these days. I thought, there's a cue for me to take a good look at that. Now, why would that be true? people who are awakening to their spiritual nature are making a real effort to remain positive. So many cautions have been given to us in the past couple of years by multiple channels that indicate that we need to raise our energies to a new, higher frequency. And that can only be done by lifting our sights and remaining in a much more positive condition throughout the day. So I believe that people who are getting discouraged probably we're expecting, after they have been doing a lot of positive thinking, probably didn't see any big change in the world. I mean, they see awful things that are happening on the media or news that is being fed to them. Maybe it's even in their family or their community. I don't know where it could be coming from, but we know what the condition in the world is today. So it could be any of that. So I think their estimation is, it doesn't seem to matter whether I'm thinking positively or not, because I don't seem to get any new efforts or new results of doing this. Now, what's happening, I think, are the fear and the anxiety and the confusion in the world clouds clear observation and might create or recreate a worldview that is one of doubt and fear, whether they had it before or not, if they buy into all of this stuff that's coming at them. And it's difficult sometimes to avoid it. You really do have to be watchful. You can't be so altruistic that you're constantly bubbling over with joy and goodwill and all that, and ignoring things that you really do need to be paying attention to when it's not so good, joyful news, etc. When you're picking up that there is a problem, you have to be able to pick it up. And actually, peace itself isn't going to come in totally yet until this dark element that's in the world is cleared out. And that's going to take some more TikTok time. So we have to be more patient as a whole and encourage each other. This is one of the reasons I think this topic has to be probably come back again and again while we are in the need to remember and to be mutually supported. I mean, because this is part of what we're about too. As light workers, as people who are in the field of light and working very hard to maintain their mission and their upliftment, it's important that we help each other to get there. And if we're not there every day, but to get back up. And as you know, in individuals, worldview is very important to how they conduct themselves in their life. And if you remember, a worldview is developed over time, really from our early conditioning, earliest conditioning with our family and the teachers and such who have guided us to our ongoing life choices. Now, if we're lucky enough to have started with good programming, with a good outlook on life, that puts us so much further down the road as we mature, much easier. So since we have a choice when it comes to lifestyle, we can potentially make big changes through different belief choices. How we continually think is one of those choices, and probably the most basic, I think. Now, also when the topic of positive thinking came up, I couldn't help but go back and think about Norman Vincent Peale and his book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And because it was years since I've had that book, I guess I got it in the 60s or 70s. It was way back. I read it and was thrilled with it and acknowledged it, and then went on to other books. I looked him up on Wikipedia and found that, well, I knew he was a minister, but he was a minister first as a Methodist, and then he moved on to be pastor of that famous New York church, Marble Collegiate Church. that many famous people go to and get married in and such. He was also on the radio quite a bit and had programs on the radio, and was very much invested in helping people come to Jesus. And he came under really heavy criticism by the mental health community when he wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking, in 1952. He was denounced as a con man and a fraud. They believed he was giving the reader absolute self-confidence and deliverances from suffering, which were actually just self-hypnosis. And now, Albert Ellis, father of cognitive behavioral therapy, was particularly critical because he felt this book prejudiced people against effective therapy. Well, I don't know whether that's true or not. Positive thinking, as I understand it from a spiritual perspective, is one in which internal positive appraisal of life takes on an upbeat look, viewing life as an opportunity and a necessary challenge to overcome obstacles and then to grow in understanding and wisdom. I never took it to be a panacea for everything. Maybe some people did, and since psychologists and psychiatrists are dealing mainly with people who are not coping well in life, that may have happened to some people that they saw, so they have that view of him at that point. Mental health itself is a continuum. We move along it in life toward the end that indicates wellness and stability, if we're doing our part in self-development and helping ourselves and kind of moving on life. But when one advances too far down the other end, it is mental illness. When I was thinking of this and writing it down, I heard the words, Wheel of Fortune. And I thought, oh, okay. That was a sentence I got, or the few words I got. And there are, I guess, a couple of ways you can read that, but I interpret it to mean that it is the spin we put on life that determines our life journey. We imprint our selves, our thinking, our energies on what I call stuff of the universe. It's everywhere. It's a God self. It's a God presence around us. And there we create forms and realities. Now, we're not ever told this when we grow up, but when you realize through training and through additional reading and studies, you really realize that this is how we work in life. So imagery for manifestation always instructs us to create our desired image. And then when you have that image, put as much corresponding feeling into the image as you can. Napoleon Hill, I didn't look him up, I forgot, but I just thought of him now. He had a book out about that and how he was proceeding in life. And I really don't even remember the title of it. I just remember his book was very important at that time as well. And it had to do with that imagery and putting emotion into it. And the more feeling you put in, or are able to it's kind of like you activate it. You're breathing life into it with feeling, the quicker it manifests. Now, of course, imagery itself has rules, and just because you do an exercise does not mean that it will appear as soon as, or at all even. There are universal laws that prevail, and both the quality and the intent of the individual plays a very important role in this whole process, among other things, which may include karma and other things like that. Or spirit deciding you're asking or trying to energize something that's really not in your best interest. And so, spirit is not going to respond to that if you are otherwise a good person who really wants to move in life and do things. It's like, no, that's not going to help you, and you don't know it, but spirit does. So there's a lot of trust in that has to be gained in that too. But we will manifest into our world, our own world, what we constantly focus on. This is a principle that all of you who are here this evening are very aware of. It's a manifestation principle. And we do this through our thinking and through our speaking. You can think internally, or you can and energize. A lot of things go on day to day in the mind of each of us, because we have a brain that constantly needs to work all the time. It keeps firing neurons, and it keeps firing for these different complexes that exist in there of the neuronical network. And it's probably a fact that the brain has to work that way. So, but the mind is constantly working. So it's a good match for the mind. It's always in motion within us. And it's just a switchboard for it anyway. But we always have something going on in our brains and our mind. And it's really important that people remember to monitor every now and then what we're really thinking about. And how often are we thinking about that thing? And really regard our thought processes as something that is a critical part of our life, not just something else. I don't get around to it. This is important to do, because we forget that the second to second, I guess nanosecond to nanosecond, so it'd be nano consciousness is out there creating for us what is being thought about and therefore imaged. Not many realize that thoughts are things. They have a reality, a dimension in which they exist, and they create images. Those who have developed intuitive gifts and are receiving from spirit, well, that spirit will often convey information, not just through thought processes that go on, but through images that can appear. They'll flash images. And an image will include, it's true that an image is worth 1,000 words. A picture is worth 1,000 words. This is why dreams are so complicated and complex. One frame even in a dream would tell us so much information. Everything in there is a critical factor of information being transferred. And these images correspond with the thoughts that they are sending us. So it's known, and yet it's not really thought about too often in day-to-day life. We know the subconscious levels of mind are actually neutral and accept what is constantly being fed to it and will take off with it. Doesn't judge it, just says, okay, that's what you want, that's what you get. So we are constantly creating our returns from the world, because that's what we are putting into the imprinting. The energy of mind goes out to get what we have offered it, positive or negative. In that way, we are the cause. We are the cause of our own reality from that perspective. So, but this is the plan that was designed by our Creator for soul enlightenment and expansion. Humans were made, or were created here, as that additional experience that spirit could have in a particular environment that was here on the planet. And we were meant to be participating in it with a flow and a kind of understanding our place in it, and go about creating another paradise on earth. So here we are today, after a few billion bumps around the way. But it's okay, because we're here to rediscover who we really are and live according to the highest principles and values which come from the soul. Now, in understanding who we are, we have faith in our Creator to guide us through life successfully. We are challenged in this time frame to hold on to that faith. I believe that when the power of positive thinking is not seen as working, that many may have lost hope. Now, psychology is concerned that if we, according to the literature, that if we focus only on positive thoughts, we will not track well in the reality of life. That is their deep concern, basically. But what is hope? It's the wish, or it's the desire to have something fulfilled in the life. And if you go into the psychology, they like to tell you that there's a difference between wishing, hoping, and wanting. You know, I wish I could go to Europe, or I want to get a new car, which are considered to be as just passing kind of global kind of thinking that really doesn't have any real umph to it, because there is no real plan to put that in motion. It could go on in time and it perpetuate itself, but never really arrive anywhere. And even if you think of, there even can be a distorted version of hope. How many times have you heard somebody say, well, I hope you know what you're doing? It can be a derisive comment, and not a quality of real hope, because hope really is a deep level of the soul. Quality in hope offers us optimism, a positive expectancy. Spiritually, it is a powerful gift of the Spirit. It's a deep sense of affirmation that you have purpose and meaning, and that your connection with Spirit is definite and secure within you. It shows trust in the divine. Hope is said to live in our heart. Our heart, remember, is the direct line to our divine mind. Heart is where the silver cord is connected, which goes directly to our own I am presence, our Creator. In teaching intuitive development on Saturdays, I stress that when one is developing your intuition, you're developing a way to access the mind of God. Now, the esoteric material that I have studied acknowledges, by the way, that there is an angel of hope. And let me tell you about that angel. Actually, it is the divine feminine partnership, the archangel, with the archangel Gabriel. Gabriel and hope work together. They are on the fourth ray of resurrection and ascension. They're very concerned about the purity of thought and the purity of life. Now, if you remember the Bible, Gabriel is also known as the angel of the Annunciation. He appeared to Mary at her inception of receiving her blessed station. It is said that he appears to every mother-to-be with the glad tidings of the coming of the Christ, for whom she is privileged to prepare the body temple. He places the electronic presence of the Christ self of the incoming child within the aura of the mother, in order that the body elementals of both mother and child, under the direction of their Christ selves, may work together to bring about the perfect form. How about that? The angelic hosts work with the parents to anchor in the child the best talents developed in other lifetimes. Now, this announcement is done not just for Mary, but it's done for every child who comes into the world. The electronic presence of Archangel is there. It's done for all parents, although they don't hear this at the present time or perceive of it, but down through some time to come, and it will come, when everyone is elevated in their consciousness, they will be able to hear this announcement from the Archangel of the descending Christ, and will know that the bearing of a soul sent from God to fulfill his destiny is a high and holy calling. That will change everything when the sacredness of life is so profoundly acknowledged. Now, as the angel of resurrection, he was the one who rolled the stone away from the tomb of Christ Jesus. And for those who are dead to their own spirit, he would like to roll away the obstacles, keeping the Christ within to be released and be free of fear and doubt. And it is Archai Hope who has said this: we have absolute control over the fact that we can manifest the golden age right now, where we are. She said that we can say, quote, the Christ consciousness of the new age is in me now. It is where I am, and more than this, I cannot desire. For I am, with hope, filling cosmos with my Christ self. And the word archai, I thought was maybe a plural form of archangel, but it is a word meaning something that was from the beginning. Eternal hope is from the beginning. Now, how does one bring in hope and positivity? I would say that self-management is a critical factor in spiritual development. And why would that be so important? Well, without going into all the detail, I can refer you here to take a look at a video recording on our YouTube channel, on our website. This was recorded by Reverend Kelly Wilk, and she calls this topic spiritual maintenance, or spiritual, I think it's something like that. She gives the why and how to get clear, centered, grounded, and protected. It's a lovely video. I think you would really enjoy the way she presents it very clearly. And it's something you could share with others. This daily maintenance of our spiritual hygiene. Oh, I think she calls it hygiene. Spiritual hygiene. Yeah. The daily applied spiritual hygiene discipline will keep us aligned with our own higher pattern and help to eliminate the tendency to be duped or foiled or fooled by spin doctors at any level, not just political. I'm familiar with some auto writing done by somebody I believe it does this well. And she did some auto writing from Joan Rivers. She said she never expected it to be Joan Rivers. Joan had some very interesting things to say, but in it, among the things she said, she was adamant that we all, and she emphasized all, need to be aware that everything we are being subjected to at this time is a lie, and to believe nothing that is being presented to you as fact. She emphasized this so much when she was going through that. She said we would be learning the truth in not too distant future, and we will all be shocked. That's not news. I mean, it's one thing to have it come in through an unexpected place like that, but I have heard it through other channels as well, and I know you have as well. You have to be on your alert. You have to stay awake and focused. And I think I guess the takeaway for me is pay attention, but don't get emotionally involved in any turmoil. It's not worth it, because it's all a drama thing being put out there for our distraction, actually. If you are prompted by your inner self because you're seeing something that you really know is not right, if you're prompted to do something, be sure it is positive and constructive in action. This will not pull your energy down. It will contribute something to the world. But do not get upset if you can't get out there and do something, but just whatever it is, writing a letter or doing something that you feel, be positive, be constructive, do you have solutions, all the things that people are kind of ignoring today. And they're frantic. I mean, really, people are frantic to get things cleared out, but they're going a little bit crazy doing it. And not in a very elevated way or positive way most of the time. And do the daily spiritual hygiene. That's the takeaway. It would be very important to stay with those exercises of grounding and centering and clearing and protecting. And keep it going and teach it to others as you can. Because remember, we're living in accelerated times when it comes to evolution and transformation. Anything that does not raise to higher frequency and stay there will not go on into the upcoming world where peace and harmony will exist. It requires that elevated frequency within people if the world is going to go on, and it will. We have been told it definitely will. So to be part of that, that's what is required. Everything else is not being supported. Anything not based on love is not supported by anybody at a higher level of light. It's being ignored and will have to fall then, because in order for anything to continue, it has to be supported by higher light forces. So be prepared in this time frame with all of those wonderful spiritual strengths that you have. Now, while I guess I didn't give too good a word for the psychology part of things, but I did find an interesting exercise that you may have done. I don't know how old this exercise is. They're presenting it as though it's brand new, but it's a very simple thing. These are the kind of things that have been around for a long time. And the exercise is called GLAD. And you might be able to adapt this as a discipline and, periodically to put with a positive mindset. It helps you with that. And it does lead to keeping hope alive. The G is for gratitude. The L is for learning. The A is for accomplishment. And the D is for delight. So what they suggest you do is like a daily journal that you do in the evening. So you take the G, that gratitude, and think of something you have been grateful for that day. And any small thing that you want to come up with, I trim my toenails. I mean, it's like I'm grateful that I got that done. Anything large or small, it doesn't matter. I think this exercise is something that you can always put something down. I think that's the whole point of this. So, and then the second one is learning. What did you learn today? And it might be just a fun fact. You found something on the internet that is like, oh, I didn't know that, or an interesting observation, anything at all that you can come up with. And for accomplishment is, what did you accomplish today? So you write the exercise. Maybe I did my exercise today. Maybe I ate a better diet, balanced diet. Maybe I cleaned a drawer out that I didn't. Anything at all that you feel represented something that you got done that day that was good. And the fourth one is, what gave you joy today? And again, it could be just because I opened my window and there was a bird singing. I finally, it was the funniest joke today. Or, I finally got a smile out of the, cashier at the grocery store. Or anything that would really have pleased you. So these things that you keep down and you can see as you're recording them in time, these are important, and it does keep a sense of perspective. So I can see where something like this could be useful. And maybe not for you, because you may have another whole system in place, but it's easy enough for you to suggest maybe of some young people who might need to have something like this going on, where they get a little disgruntled. If you can convince them that this might be a nice exercise and just for fun to see how it could be done, that might help a few people along the way. And maybe for some of us old folks who get caught in difficulties and we get a little disgruntled ourselves, that might work many different places. So I hope that would be of some use to you today, and that you stay positive is that you can. Do not feel that everything has to be turned into a positive. If it's not right, you have to be aware of it. But your general tone for your life, the appreciation of your life, the glory of God that's in your life, these are the things that need to be there frequently. We look at the gratitude. What's going on in my life that I have rather than I don't have. All of those things can lift our positive thinking up. But again, as I said, just be careful. If you're being signaled, hey, this is something's going on here, listen to your thinking, listen to what's coming into you, because you are being signaled from spirit. Hey, this isn't right. Don't do this, or go and change this. So don't try to keep a bland or a blanket of positive everything over everything. It doesn't work. That's what the psychologists were complaining about, I think, with Norman Vincent Peale. I think he never approached it other than just be positive all the time. So I think you're all adult, intelligent, spiritually minded, and developing people who understand this. But just to be clear, that I'm clear about that. I thought I better put that in. Now I'd like now to move into our meditation. And I think we'll tell, if you will, use your imagination in the process. If you can go with this and see what you make of this exercise. I was given some words to cover in the meditation, and I have put them in here in a little journey format. So let's see if this is a useful meditation for you this evening. So you want to, again, as you know, with your experienced meditators, you want to settle back, breathing deeply and rhythmically and easily. And with every out breath that you have, just imagine that your muscles are getting just more and more relaxed. If you're seated in an armchair, everything is getting your body's getting very heavy. It can even sink into the chair a bit. And you take another breath in and let it out. And again, your body needs to let go. We're letting everything go. Drop all your other thinking and feelings and relax. And as you relax, open up your imagination and consider that you are now taking this journey. And the first step is you're finding a pathway to your heart. Find something that represents your heart, whether it be a room, a house, a garden, a cathedral, a beach. It doesn't matter. As long as you find it, you go there and invest yourself because you've been there before. Invest yourself in really feeling it. Pick up something around you in that space that you're in that has substance to it and feel it. Put it in your hand. Try to see more of the space that you're in. Open your mind, open your heart, open yourself to a beautiful experience guided by your own teachers and guides. Open to your heart. See the beauty, the harmony. Hear whatever beautiful sounds that are there. And you may even have some sense, something lovely wafting on the air to you. Immerse yourself in this. Your own heart, the beauty, the tapestries, the richness is beyond anything this world can offer. And as you're there and enjoying this place, find the central place where there is an altar. There's an altar. On the altar is a golden tabernacle. And in the tabernacle is the other end of the silver cord, the cord that connects you in this lifetime to your Creator, to your I Am presence. This is where it all exists in you, the beauty and the power. The threefold flame is there, the power and the wisdom and the love. All this of God that you have. Kneel at that altar. Bow before the altar. Bow before your Creator. And thank God for this opportunity to be one with Him, her, with the divine. And acknowledge that you are anticipating a journey and ask for a little help along the way. And as you rise to your feet, you have all of those angelic beings behind you. They're waiting to take you out through a doorway to embark on this journey. And when you open the door, there is a path, a road, a highway, or some connecting avenue that's going to take you there. You step out with your entourage, and Archangel Hope is there. Archangel Gabriel is there. And many others. And you walk along the path or road or whatever it is you are on. Proceed down that road. And when you reach the end of the road, before you lies a field, and you can see beyond that is another field. There are two fields. You're going to find that you're being led to go into this field, and you find it filled with dense vegetation and all sorts of barriers, some high, some slippery, some covered with sharp glass, and all kind of things are here in this amazing field. You know, what are they there for? But you see them. Look around, how many do you see? And you're instructed that you need to go through this field so you can eventually claim your destiny. Can you go on? You see a box in the ground and open it, and a bright colored bird flies out singing, "Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." And you decide to follow. Keep going. Get over those things that are in your way. Are you doing it? Have you reached the other side yet? Well, you must be nearly there. There's a gate at the other side of the field that you can leave. This particular field, only to find that you're in another field. And interestingly enough, when you go through the gate, you suddenly find your hands are tied and you have a restricted ability to move. It's dark, and there are long shadows on walls when the moon comes out from behind the cloud. You hear some unusual animal noises, but you can't see them. You need to get through this field to the golden gate at the other side of this field. How are you going to move? What is the most important thing to do? You're on your way now. You're getting there. You finally reach the Golden Gate and you open it. Do you see your destiny? What do you see? Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Hope now clearly come into view, and you realize that they have been with you this entire time. They congratulate this journey that was done in faith and with hope. You have found the strength to overcome the obstacles in your way and have released the fears you have encountered. They lead you now in a celebratory way back down the road to your place in your heart. There's a lot of celebration. A lot of smiles. And you go there and find again the altar and give thanks to your Creator for the wonderful gifts of love and security and so much more. And the ability to see your way through life, knowing that you are always guided and protected. The archangels now take you back and return on the path that took you there to your heart. They're bringing you back into your everyday awareness in the physical, to your lower concrete thinking, but have implanted in you the greatest gifts of love and hope and security and release and the strength to overcome anything. These things are strengthened in you. They're added to you today for this journey and for their acknowledgement of their presence in your heart and in your life. You come back refreshed and feeling quite healthy and very happy. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you for your donations we receive by going to PayPal and visiting our website. We appreciate everything that you give and donate to us so that we can continue the journey here at CCWH and keep going, pay our bills and energize some new ideas and some new ventures down the road. Thank you very much. And we'll end with our lovely hands around the room. Let there be peace on earth.